welcome to the Unspoken Podcast. This is a very special episode. Today is Titi Joy's day. We are celebrating the anniversary of the Free Tribe Network. We're going to be talking about the Free Tribe Network. We're talking about ourselves. We're going to be diving deep into our history, what brought about the Free Tribe name, and what we've done so far. You might want to just stick around for the long form of this. And we have somebody special today.
Yeah, we have our founder and executive director, Mr. Tosin Oluwagbemiga Jacobs.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for choosing to be here.
Oh, we are so happy. First time here. Like, he's here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. I'm really happy to be here.
All right. So, before we get so excited now, what brought about the Free Tribe Network? Like, how did we get here? What sparked this passion?
So there are several things. That inspired the Free Tribe Network, and both on the angle of experiences and also, environmental factors that also had to play in my life. And one person that really brought me to this point is my late mom, and that's one of the persons that we are celebrating today, Madam Titi Victoria Oluwagbemi Jacob, and she's my inspiration basically. She lived the kind of life that basically involved someone, denying themselves for other persons. You understand? And this is a way to cement her legacy, to continue to do the work that she has started. She started the school, she did a lot of things, and
wow.
I mean, the world would have definitely heard her name on a very loud stage if she was still alive till this day.
Yeah.
This is a way of just, sustaining that legacy. And, she died, due to obstetric complications. This was, about 2 months after childbirth.
Oh.
She died, yes. So she died 2 months after childbirth, and it was a very preventable death. That was the most painful part. It was something that could have been avoided, even after she gave birth. It was 2 CS, and then, she was complaining, she's feeling pain, she felt something was wrong. Consultant doctors that we had back then, and I'm sure things should be better now. They were like, I know myself, and until it got so late, she had sepsis, and that was how, that happened. That particular, this was in 2007, and it was a very sad year. But then again, it was also the beginning of, some, I would use the word, some thoughtful, inspiring things to come in my life, right?
A shift.
It also changed my thought pattern. I wanted to become a doctor before. Yes, so interesting. I wanted to become an O&G doctor. I was thinking I was going to. So there's this book. I don't know if you guys have seen that book before, where there's no doctor. Has anybody read that book? I was.
My mom had it.
I've never heard of this book before. Never.
My mom has it.
It's there. It's. And there were several books also like that. So I would be reading the book, and I felt like I was a doctor. When I go to school,
I can imagine.
When I go to school, I go to the clinic, all those injections, syringes that they have thrown away, I'll pick one of the. I did a lot of risky things. I was just always feeling like, and I felt like I was going to, become an O&G doctor at some point. And her death made me, just. I wouldn't use the word hate, but I suddenly just had this opposite. It was like, is this how medical doctors are like? You understand? Or is this, contrary to what some other people will say when this kind of thing happened, that's when they say, okay, I will be a better medical doctor, but it was a different experience for me. But eventually I got over it and still wanted to, of course, move in that particular area, but then I found myself in public health line. Community medicine, to be precise, and I think it's been fun. It's been great. So this is one of my this is the core of what drives the Free Tribe Network. What drives me on the Free Tribe Network? I'm trying to make sure that people don't also, because when I had these experiences of losing my mom, I realized that what happens to one member of the family can spiral into several negative effects affecting every
Everybody.
other person. I
Yes.
experienced a lot of things. I was bullied. I was abused. It spiraled into a lot of things, and that's why you see that the Free Tribe Network, covers reproductive health and family health. It is very deliberate. It's a very strategic move. It's not just say, okay, it's just maternal health and child health that we're focusing on, because we realize that you can't actually make real impact if you just itemize one part. You need to treat them, as a whole comprehensively. And so we'll get into all that, but that's summarily the inspiration. As for my experiences, I've explained, being abused, being bullied as a child, several things. There were several things that I went through as a child, even within my immediate family. The kind of relationship I had with my siblings and with my dad. All this. It was a spin-off from the demise of my mom. But eventually, I found myself, and I don't want anybody to also go through that
part.
That particular part. And if it's through sensitization, if it's through a project or a program, through an intervention, if there is any way we can just do the little we can to make sure that the next child doesn't go through this kind of thing, that the next father, for example, doesn't, because it affects both the father and the mother, everybody. You understand, in the family. So I mean, this is the major driving force for me on the Free Tribe Network.
Oh, that is very touching.
So, but for me, I see it as a very thoughtful move for you to have turned your seemingly pain into something so fruitful that it doesn't just affect you, it affects the society, it affects a large number of people, because over the years, we are celebrating our anniversary of 2 years. So over the years, a lot of people have been impacted in one way or the other. So I must say that your mom will be proud of you right now.
Exactly.
But I'm curious to know, what if your mom's demise led to the birth of Free Tribe Network, right? So I'm wondering, what's the connection between the name Free Tribe and Titi, right? Okay. So, how did we get our name?
I think this question has come up a couple of times.
Okay.
Right? People have asked me this question before. And I'm just going to say it as a young person living in today's age. So, the alternative, I thought about, when we wanted to come up with it, we were thinking of using Titi Victoria's foundation, right?
Memorial is usually most of what I hear. Memorial is there. So,
but the concern now was that the name wasn't communicating a message.
Okay.
Oh, true.
It has a person's name. You see a lot of foundations, somebody just names the foundation after themselves, and they are philanthropists basically.
Yes.
But the name, by hearing that name, it doesn't communicate anything.
What
it doesn't
they
give.
do.
So we wanted to break that, the conventional formalities of non-profits that we've seen, that we have a lot of non-profits just attach something nostalgic, and then put foundation behind it. We wanted to break that formality. And that's how we came up with the Free Tribe Network. The full name is actually the Free Tribe Network for Reproductive Health and Family Wellness. That's the full name of the organization. Okay. And it also did not just land again at free. So at some point we had a house boy living with us, right?
Yes.
And I mentioned earlier that I was abused and things. So growing up, freedom was a very big word to me, because it felt like most places where I found myself, I was always mildly put the underdog. Let's use it like that, the underdog. It just felt like there was always something to clip my wings.
Oh.
And I felt there were several people going through that same kind of thing, always something to clip their wings. And also, building my career when I was doing my master's it was focused on the reproductive and family health track. So finding a way to communicate a message that if somebody hears this, they feel empowered. So at first, FREE was an acronym for us. So, but of course, if you're registered in the organization before, you know that sometimes you submit names and CSC would tell you, no, we are not taking this name. It was a long process. It took almost a year, working, trying to settle on name. Wow. And so FREE was Family and Reproductive Health, Emancipation and Empowerment was an acronym.
Oh.
That was how we landed with the word free. And we were like,
Free.
okay, it communicates freedom, and then it also means family and reproductive health, emancipation and empowerment. So, this is like, when people see it, if you look at our logos, you can see the wings, talking about
free to fly.
empowerment. And then you see the father, mother, and child, communicating family empowerment in the middle and things like that. So this was the idea. But I mean, by the time we applied to CAC and the different things, and it didn't go through, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to. So they were suggesting names that sounded like generally, the foundation type of things we didn't want at that point. And then eventually we now decided that, okay, what we're also building is a network. If you look at the foundation, you also see that it's not just, we want to come somewhere and do something for people. We want to work with you.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's at the core of what the Free Tribe Network does. We make sure that we do things with people. So we come there, find out what's the need in this particular community.
Just like the STAR project.
Exactly, like the Stand Against Recycled Violence project, the STAR project. So that's how we came up with the Free Tribe Network. So Free Tribe Network is our brand name. Free Tribe Network for Reproductive Health and Family Wellness is our full name.
Wow, interesting.
That's it's such
funny. I'm just getting to know that.
It's exciting. It's an exciting story. That is how. Like, I've looked at the logo, I've seen the wings, I've seen the family part I understood, but the wings part I was like, it's just because of the free. But now I get the sense of what that wings really mean, and it's actually an amazing journey. But Nigeria CAC structure, you can do better. 1 year. Like, what if he decided that it was just too much, like this,
too much pressure,
and because of that, a lot of people do not actually end up registering the organization. Some people just do name registration and they think they have registered the organization.
Yes.
Because of some frustrations that they go through. It wasn't just the CAC, by the time you want to get some documents from EFCs, but some documents it can be daunting sometimes. Yes. But all in all, I think it was a necessary process, because there are a lot of organizations also that are involved in shady things, and it was important to make sure that you pass through the right process to vet every single thing about you to make sure you get to that place.
Yeah. And after all this struggle and passion, we are 2 years into Free Tribe Network.
Woo! That's a long road.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
A 2-year-old child is already calling mommy.
Exactly.
It's still a child, but it has gone a long way. A lot of developments, a lot of
events,
programs.
Yeah.
Like what I mentioned, the STAR projects. We have our Repro Matters every 2 months. But I want to hear from you, like, what have we done this past 2 years?
I would say the Free Tribe has done a lot of advocacy. That's one place I would say is our strong forte. We've done a lot of advocacy, and in fact, the Repro Matters program is also one program that really is it's at my core. It's really, it makes me feel very. It makes me feel very happy, especially when I get some testimonies from that program.
But before you continue, I want to mention this. If you're not following us on our pages, please do, especially to meet up with the Repro Matters. It is an amazing program that you would get a lot from. We have amazing guests that come every 2 months to talk to us about matters that you need to listen to. Now, please continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Chidima. Okay, so as we were saying, it was very interesting, right? The program has been very interesting and impactful, because we've seen how discussing things that people were not aware of. For example, HPV, right?
Oh, that's one got me. That one got me.
A lot of people are so afraid of HIV, so afraid of HIV, and then they don't really care about HPV.
No, HPV.
It's really not.
I had to read.
By the time you hear what the human papillomavirus is about, how it's actually the most widespread virus when it comes to STIs. You now begin to think back, and there are statistics that talk about how most people will be infected in their lifetime with the HPV. There are several topics we've taken on the Repro Matters program. Basically, I don't want to stay on any too much. We've had, the likes of Aziza Kibibi. That was another story that touched me. Someone who was raped and abused by her father, right? From the age of about 6, 7 or so till she was 24. She had 5 children for her father by the time she was 24 years old. I mean, her children are grown up right now. She's living with her children who are also her siblings. You hear stories like this and you see how easy it is to use a story to change a person's perception. So you've known before that, okay, this is a problem. You've known that abuse is there. But now you are hearing people sharing their stories. I remember one of our programs, we had someone sharing their story. I think one lady that said she was pregnant and her parents chased her out from Tanzania or South Africa. She joined from a different. It was one of our, I think our 4th or 5th episode of the Repro Matters program, and it's been really, for me, that has been an eye opener, because things that we think people know, you find that they do not know about it. And we had other initiatives. We've had outreaches that we've done to the primary health care. I think it's the Ola. I can't remember the pronunciation of the place now. There's this primary health care in Ibadan. We've had some school projects. We've also done an intervention here at the school in Lagos. We've done our bits in 2 years, and of course there's always room for more. That's one thing my mentor always tells me. He says the largest room for improvement is always the empty one. So it means that the more you do, when you go to that room for improvement, you find that it's still wide, because it can still take so much. Still, you understand? So there's still so much to do. So we've carried out, Repro Matters. We have the Boost Camp. It's a capacity building program which we do for volunteers, staff, and interns of the Free Tribe Network on a regular basis. We've also had this podcast session we are having. It's also an initiative of the Free Tribe Network.
Yes, it is.
So these are interesting things that the Free Tribe Network has been doing. We'll be launching something also very soon that people would be very excited to hear about, and I'm sure people will really be interested.
I can't wait.
So that this just to not keep us here too long, I think we can stop there talking about our impact.
Wow, I'm just getting to know someone. Yeah, I think I'm the newest person. You were a beneficiary
of the training we had at UCH, Chidinma.
Yes.
She said something about it.
I still have all the documents from that training.
Very impactful training. So these are some of the things we conduct, and currently we are also thinking of finding a way to incorporate mental health therapy into what we do.
Wow.
That's something that's in the long run.
A lot of people working 9 to 5 in Lagos will be so glad to hear that, because
it's a very important part of life.
It's a very important part of Lagos life.
Lagos.
But beyond Lagos, actually. A lot is happening.
Some of us in Ibadan, we also need it now. I see people in Ibadan. They need it everywhere.
No, I'm just saying that people are going through a lot.
Yeah.
Things, so many economies are crashing, and that factor alone affects a lot of people mentally. So a lot of people would need that. That's Free Tribe is a very core organization, if I would say, because with all the initiatives that we've been, like you said, because I'm like the newbie in Free Tribe, so I'm really impressed to hear that not only do you equip others and create awareness and have initiatives for the general society, we also equip the volunteers. And it's really interesting to know that you're not just using volunteers as tools, you also equip them. And I heard from Chidinma how the volunteers, what did you call it?
The Star Project training, or
the volunteers training. There was something. There was
Boost camp.
The Boost camp, the particular one you attended.
Oh, that is the Star Project now.
Okay,
training.
So yeah, she hinted me at some point. I was like, oh, nice. So it's really impressive, and I, for one, I would say I'm impressed at what you've made from your lemons. The lemonade you've made out of it. And I just want to ask, if peradventure your mom was here to see all that you've done, so far with the Free Tribe Network, what do you think she would say, or what do you think her reaction would be to it?
Talking about how my mom will feel about what the work the Free Tribe Network has been doing so far, she'll be happy. I'm sure of that. She definitely will be very happy. Like I said, she lived a very
Selfless
life. I think that's the word. And so one of the things she started was a school in Port Harcourt. And I mean, if you hear her talk about the school, you know that it was not started to make money. It was started because we realized that people in that particular vicinity were not interested in going to school. The school is still running till now.
Wow.
Yes, it's still. Then that school is older than me. School is actually interesting. That's by the way, anyways. So she was a very versatile person. She made beads, she made hats, she baked, made everything. She was industrious and multi-talented. She did a lot of things. She sang.
Wow.
So it was for her to just imagine or picture what is being done with the Free Tribe Network now. I think it's something that she would be really happy about. We are not just going, one direction. We are doing things from different angles, trying to. While we're speaking, and as someone mentioned the STAR project training, I just remember that we also had a small initiative for some of the children we from the STAR project school, where we sponsored them for an adolescent boot camp. So there was a boot camp. I think it was 3 days. Boot camp for mental health. It was a mental health, boot camp. There was an anthem. They had, sit and paint. There were several activities. I've also sponsored. I mean, through the Free Tribe Network, right? We've also been able to mentor and sponsor people to get certain skills. So there's this particular boy we're counseling in one of the schools where we had our intervention that, was talking about how his sister was raped, and the dad now chased the sister out, and because he spoke out, the dad asked him. Wow. So all of them went out like that, and it was a big and so so far they've been struggling. So I got close to him, we spoke, started talking about things you want to learn, paid for that for him to learn how to. So he's interested in repairing phones and laptop and stuff. He's rounding off his class. He's on this thing now. So I mean, the Free Tribe Network has done. We may not have done that very big thing like to cure cancer, but little drops of water make an ocean.
Yes, it does.
And that's one of the encouraging things about the work we do. And I think she would look at this and be proud of this institution. That is one thing. She will be proud of this institution.
She will be.
Okay. So at this point, this is where we get to say, Mr. Executive Director, sir,
the big boss himself,
we asked you to
write something.
Write a poem.
We made sure he wrote something.
And we're putting you on the spotlight.
Yes. Note, we've not heard it. I'm not sure anybody have heard it. So we are the first to hear from the master himself. So
can you read that to us?
Okay.
Let us shift very well.
Okay. The first time I saw my mother, I was nothing but seed. In the quietness of love, coyly and peeled, whispered into vastness, promised to be seen. She cradled my becoming in hands warm and white, a promise wrapped in skin, soft and serene. Titi Victoria, a name the wind still hums, full grace in her footsteps and light in her speech. She held the world in her smile, teaching me the rhythm of strength, the melody of kindness, the miracle of a soft power. I remember the way she hummed, a gospel tune, maybe faint but full, a song that told me we were safe, even when the world unknown was cruel. She taught with patience and purpose, each word a craft, a story that seeped into me as I passed into dreams on her shoulder, of course. And when I stumbled over life's early questions, she was the voice in the hush. You are not lost, you are learning. She was my first secret keeper, my first audience, my fiercest believer. When I danced in the living room, she clapped like I was on a grand stage. When I cried over broken crayons or fears too big for a 10-year-old, she held me like they were valid. I lost her before I knew how to spell eternity, but somehow she lives beyond goodbye. In the mirror, I see the curve of her cheek. In my laughter, I hear her delight. In moments of doubt, her spirit steadies mine, a whisper, a warmth, a will to rise. Each April, I bring her flowers she can't hold. I write her name into the wind, into dreams, into purpose. Her legacy, stitched into my very birth, is the fire that guides me beyond the boundaries of life and death. So today, I do not mourn, I celebrate, because loving her was my first story, and being her child, my eternal song. And if you too have known this ache, the empty chair, the silent room, the birthday without a mother's laughter, no, your mother's love did not disappear. It folded itself into your marrow, into your instinct to love and keep loving. Today I celebrate Titi Victoria, not only the mother I had, but the woman whose light still touches this earth. Through every act of love I choose, this is for her. This is for all of them, for all of us, for the unbreakable bond between mother and child, that neither time or death can sever, for Titi Victoria and the mothers that mother. MOTHER.
Actually, that was amazing. That was actually
That got me
amazing.
a bit emotional. But,
That was actually good, like really good, literally the right.
so we should be
there.
putting you on the spot sometime.
Now, probably we should
This
have
is
a
the one and
segment
only.
where he comes to read poetry for us. I think they will love that.
She used to write.
Oh,
I just remember
definitely.
she used to write, and she encouraged me to go for my first poetry competition while I was in secondary school. I think it was Indomie that was organizing it. There was a time in Indomie, I can't remember what campaign that was, and I wrote a poem for it, and I was actually selected as one of their top winners. I'm trying to remember, just to remember it's flooding back in. So she wrote, and writing, especially poetry, at some point I got into spoken word poetry, has been a way to also honor her, especially creative writing.
That's
It's been one way
amazing.
to honor her.
Oh, also, I will just remember, he also paints. He draws.
Today's about Titi Victoria.
He draws.
About Victoria.
Good.
But it's obvious that she passed down her multi-talentedness. Yeah, and it's a beauty to know that we didn't lose her in that sense,
Yes.
because you stepped up, and we are drawing from the wells of your multi-talentedness.
He's one of the
As
beam
well.
of light she lifts.
So today also we want to we don't have a glass to raise to our executive director, because he's a visionary, and if he didn't step up to giving us Free Tribe Network, we would not be here
We will not be here.
celebrating Titi's Joy Day.
Neither will we
So
hear
can
the
we give a
story.
round of applause to our founder? So yes, this brings us
To say something.
to a point where she has to say something.
All right, so you've heard about our history. It's been touching amazing, and as much as I hope the poetry touched you, because it was amazing.
Yeah, he touched me.
If Free Tribe Network has touched you in any way, that is our outreach, our projects, or Ripple Matters, if Free Tribe has touched you in any way, like, just know that you're part of the mission. You are part of the reason why we're here. You're part of the reason why we do this. And it's a mission that we are transferring to you. There's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of things to do. And we are just, what are we just? I don't know what we're just. There's still a lot of things to do. And we hope that you stick with us through the journey.
Thank you very much, Chidima. I think that summarizes it. And we've had people who have had several experiences key into the vision of the Free Tribe Network, which is reproductive health and family well-being. I was sharing with someone, not a few hours from before this podcast. We're talking about a friend who was circumcised, a lady, mutilated. That's the word.
Oh yeah.
Was mutilated, and she's also passionately behind the cause of the Free Tribe Network.
Yeah.
It's a way for her to also, and also, people we've had initiatives around child marriage, around widowhood practices. We've had, these are all causes that tie, because like I said earlier, also one thing that affects one member of the family gets to affect every member, and ultimately affects every member of the community. The Stand Against Recycled Violence Project, for example, you'll be wondering, what's the word recycled violence? It's basically referring to a child that is witnessing his father beat his mother, or his mother beats his mother. He's witnessing violence of some kind in his environment. And then before you know, the person, it begins to manifest. The girl that is witnessing this might begin to think, oh, this is how it should be. The woman should be subservient. And then, even when she grows old and she's in relationships, she just always finds herself in that position of being the abused.
Yes.
The boy can feel like this is what it means to be a man, to be the one that is abusing.
Yeah.
And beyond that, it can also spiral into them finding themselves involved in vices like cultism, doing drug abuse. So you see, health is very, very interconnected. So on the Free Tribe Network, we are so conscious of that.
Yes.
So what we do, borders both physical health, mental health, and social, aspects of health. And we are calling on you, if you are interested, if you want to key into this vision, if you want to be a part of this vision, if there's something that speaks to you, you want to be someone that is a connector of family, you want to join this network, because that's exactly what we call ourselves here.
Yeah.
We are a network. We are not just limited to Southwest Nigeria. We've had things to do with what's Professor Eve Valera from Harvard University. She's a friend of the organization. We had her on our Repro Matters. So we've had different things that different initiatives and things that makes us become this very big network. And one thing about the network is that it keeps growing. So you can be a part of this. Send us an email at freetribenetwork@gmail.com, or send us a message on any of our social media platforms, and somebody will get back to you. I'll be happy to get more people keen into this vision.
Yeah, join us.
Yeah, so feel free to join us, like our founder has said. And here we go. That's it on today's episode on the Unspoken podcast. Before we go, we just want to say Happy Titi Joy Day! And bye! See you in the next episode on the Unspoken podcast.
Yay!
So